You ever heard that saying, there's no manual for raising children? Well, that's true. But we do have something that can come very close to a manual, and it's called the astrological birth chart. Here I'm holding the charts of all four of my children, and I want to give you some brief tips on how to use your child's birth chart. One, what's the child's rising sign? What do you see when you look at that child? That's the rising sign. What do you see? What does the world see? What is the mask that that child is wearing? And that mask is not just to mean something superficial. It means, how is spirit interfacing with the world through that child? It's the first thing to start with. What's the child's sun sign? Whatever that child feels like it is, and how it is to express what it is the sun sign. Okay? But that sun sign is not really running the show. What's the child's moon sign? What sign is the moon in of your little one? Because this is maybe, if not the most, one of the most important points to consider, especially for parents. Because the moon represents what the child emotionally needs. And your moon sign will represent what you would naturally give. It's how you would nourish. And sometimes in our conflicts with our children, we're trying to feed some type of food that the child does not want to eat. You ever try to feed your children some food and they won't eat it? You're frustrated. It's been a long day. You're tired. And you're just trying to get something in their belly and they want to turn their nose up. Now that I'm a parent, I understand how frustrating that was for my mama. But on a symbolic level, sometimes we're trying to feed children something they don't want to eat. And so we have to understand what that child needs emotionally. And you have to parent each child at a different level. That's why I'm learning that I got 2 children from my first marriage and 2 from my current. When I have my girls over, my oldest girls, I was telling my wife, I've seen how they're all different when I'm with them individually. Not just my older girls, but all 4 children. They behave differently. They talk differently when you have them by themselves. Because now you're able to kind of hone in more on what this child needs. And if you can create those situations and always keep in mind, where's the child's moon sign? I have 2 children with moon in Aquarius. So I'm an Aquarius sun. So if nothing else, one-on-one attention and time from daddy. Okay? They need that type of food. I have my oldest child, moon in Capricorn. She needs to always be reassured that she can climb a mountain. And her moon is opposite mine. My moon's in Cancer. Her moon's in... So just me being me and how I naturally will nurture often is food for her. Sensitivity, care. my son has his moon in Scorpio. And so I need to be mindful of his sensitivity because of where his moon is. And I have to meet his sensitivity with Scorpio being cold, stagnant water. I have to meet him with warm water. Because Cancer is the perfect water, if you will. It's the amniotic fluid that the baby floats in when it's gestating. So sometimes I have to warm up his water. A hug. Rub his head. Hey, buddy. You know, a high five. Reassurance. In other words, reassurance. And it's so much more to go into, but this is just basic stuff about just the moon. Really looking into how these children are fed emotionally. Another thing about my children with the moon and Aquarius, they need reason. You need to reason with them. I meet my oldest and my oldest daughter and my son. I meet them at an emotional level. Or I have to be reminded. Meet them at an emotional level. My middle daughter and my youngest daughter, they need reason. You have to, which means I have to be in control of my emotions so I can reason with them. Because that's how you get to them emotionally. Connect, reason. Finally, where's their Venus? Because their Venus is going to tell you what they value. And that's another way that you can indirectly get to them emotionally. As far as when I say get to them, I mean connect. Connect to them emotionally through value. What do they value? Understanding that. And I said finally, but I misspoke. Finally, Mercury. How do you all communicate? How do they communicate? How do they hear? How do you naturally communicate? And what do you listen for? And I especially had to work on this because my words can cut. My words can cut. I've had to work on that in relationship, children. And it's not like saying things that are mean. It's just sometimes being very direct. And sometimes the tone, just, you know, the matter of factness of it. Mercury and Capricorn. So these are things that I'm not presenting this to you to suggest that I'm some guru and I'm a master and I'm on Mount Olympus and I have it all figured out. No, it's all learning. It's all learning. And the more we know, the better opportunity we have to enrich our relationships and maximize our time together and our experiences. So just some food for thought. By the way, I do offer a children's reading if you want to know your children better. And if you want to know how you and your child relate, then you may consider a synastry reading. All available on my website. And by the way, synastry is not just looking at romantic relationship. It's any relationship, one-on-one relationship. Synastry can give you insight into it. 720astrology.com is where you can find all of these offerings. Know the stars to know yourself. Peace.